Hey. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining me today for the webinar covering the HAR agent branded app feature, as well as the virtual office website or VOW feature. My name is Marilyn Maxwell and I'll be the facilitator for today's webinar. And my contact information is showing on the screen there. If you have any questions during the webinar today, just feel free to use the chat and do that. Since it's a webinar interface, your cameras are not being used, you're not visible, and you don't have access to your microphones. So just use that chat feature and I'll be glad to answer questions as quickly as I can as soon as they come in. You're also welcome to email me or give me a call outside of this webinar. If I can be of help, again, just let me know. Today's webinar is going to cover how to invite consumers using the HAR branded app, and then what that consumer will see or receive from that invitation. We'll also cover how to enable the virtual office website piece and what the consumers will see or receive on the other end after they are invited and accept your invitation. All right, and again, I'm getting some questions in the chat. If I can see you again, no camera, y'all are not on camera during the webinar, so there's no need to worry about whether your camera's working. It's just not used during a webinar. All right, so getting started on using the HAR branded app. See if I can make this focus a little bit more on the screen. Sorry, just bear with me here a moment. Trying to get it where you can see my phone full screen, but apparently it's not going to work for me today. So moving on. All right, so when you first open the HAR app, just below your name, it's going to say My Branded App. The branded app feature and the virtual office website are both tied to the Platinum package of tools. So you will need to be subscribed to the Platinum package in order to do that, to use both features. To subscribe to the Platinum package, if you haven't already done that, when you first log into HAR on the members only portal, off to the left side of the screen, you'll see MLS, MLS Platinum. And once you click there, you'll see About MLS Platinum. And then here where mine says view your subscription, you would be able to click and sign up. The Platinum package of tools is $129 plus tax per year. And so it comes out to about $10-ish per month. You get to decide if you want to subscribe. And if you do choose to subscribe when you sign up, it's a full calendar year from the day that you choose to sign up. So if you wanted to sign up today, for instance, it would be from December 3rd, 2021 to December 3rd, 2022. It's not required. There are several features built into the Platinum package or tied to the Platinum package like we're discussing today that you would be missing out on if you weren't subscribed. The Platinum package of tools is a suite of marketing and lead generation tools added on to the marketing and lead generation tools you already get with your standard HAR membership. Again, it's a personal preference if you'd like to sign up. It's pretty easy to do. You also may be eligible for a 30-day free trial. So if you follow those same steps to get to this page, click on the green button. If you're eligible for the 30-day free trial, you'll see that information there. It will ask for your credit card information, but it will not charge you until the 30 days is up. Also, you could decide that you don't want to subscribe after the 30 days. So before the trial expires, you could just simply cancel your subscription and you wouldn't be charged anything above and beyond your standard HAR dues. All right. So moving back to where I was mirroring my phone, I have the HAR app open, and again, below your name where it says My Branded App is where you would tap to begin the process. The branded app is going to send a link to a consumer for them to download the full HAR app, but everything is going to be branded with your information. So that's kind of the perk of that functionality. Once you click on My Branded App, I have a Droid phone, so I have to click List to switch over. On your iPhones, it's going to default to this page. And you can see here I've emailed or sent an invitation to 3 different people. 2 have accepted my invitation and 1 has not. You can see Abe Lincoln is still invited. He probably has better things to be doing. It's obviously a fake customer or client there. I just wanted you to see the difference, what it looks like when they have not accepted your invitation. So you can invite them, but if they don't click on the link that you've sent through that invitation, they won't be able to see the premium content that you're trying to share with them, and you won't have access to their account either because they won't have established an account, right? So with the little person in the upper right corner, I have the option to invite HAR contacts, add a new customer, import from my phone contacts, or share my branded app. Again, it'll look slightly different on an iPhone than it does on my Droid phone. You'll just have a little link down at the bottom that says new customer or invite new customer. So inviting HAR contacts. An HAR contact is somebody who has reached out to you and initiated contact through some HAR source, like maybe they went to your web page and requested a CMA or something like that. Of all of these, I think you'll have the fewest HAR contacts because they just may not have reached out to you that way. Adding a new customer is somebody you've never met before, you don't have their contact information saved, like maybe you're having an open house and someone comes into that open house. That would be a new customer. You'll need to collect at least their first and last names and their email address to be able to send the invitation. If you can get their phone number and other contact info, then that's great, but the minimum required is first name, last name, and email address. Import from my phone contacts, pretty self-explanatory. It helps you, allows you to import from those contacts you already have saved to your phone. And you do get to pick and choose. It's not going to just mass email everybody from your phone. You're going to decide who you want to invite and send them email invitations. The last option, share my branded app, allows you to share the link to download your app, but it does not save consumer information. I would highly recommend that you don't use this bottom one, simply because one of the most important things that you're trying to accomplish here is to capture the contact information of the consumer so that you can continue to follow up with them. So if you just share the branded app and kind of give away all your golden nuggets, it's not benefiting you as well as it would if you had saved their contact information. So if you are able to collect that first name, last name, and email, that would be ideal, right? And then once you click on add new customer, it's pretty simple. Just fill in the blanks. Again, you can include a phone number if you'd like to do that. They can receive text messages after the initial email that they get, but the initial email is, the initial invitation rather, is done by email. So just keep that in mind. There's a place to write some notes. So how you met that person, or, you know, if they're a friend of a friend of a friend, who is that friend, that type of thing. There's even a place to put their picture if you wanted to do that. So the process of inviting is pretty straightforward. And then once they have accepted your invitation, you can do something that I call creepy cool. It airs on, it leans more toward the side of cool than creepy. But you're just kind of spying on them for purposes of good. Joe Consumer, again, has accepted my invitation, so I can click on his name. And then you'll see his email. And then you have a few options here. Recommended listings is something that you can do. You can send them recommended listings. Perhaps they're searching for a townhome in a certain price range and you know of one that's been on the market quite some time. So you feel like maybe you could negotiate it down into their price range. That would be a reason to recommend a listing. Once you tap on recommended listings, you can either search nearby or use the custom search feature to put in an address or MLS number to find that property and recommend it to them. Once you send the recommendation, it's going to send a little pop-up notification on their phone, just like we get pop-up notifications for new texts, new emails, that type of thing. It will send them a notification that they have a new property in the HAR app that they can look at. Scheduled showings or inquiries, those are, again, things that are initiated by the consumer, and inquiries are scheduled showing requests. Again, if they are looking at any property within the HAR app, it's going to be branded with your contact information. Instead of showing the listing agent information, it'll show all of your information. So any property that they would like to see, if they make that request, then it's going to come directly to you. And you would see the little pop-up notifications on your phone saying you had a notification, an appointment request, or showing request from the HAR app. Now down into consumer or customer activities, view activity lets you just see what they've been searching for. Again, my silly way of saying it just to entertain you is creepy cool. You can see all the property that they have searched for, recently viewed listings. It doesn't even have to have been saved as a favorite or anything like that. You can just see what they're looking at. So you'll know, again, get an idea of what it is. Oh, they want townhomes in a certain price range, that type of thing. You can see what they have marked as favorites if you would like. Again, just so that you get some sort of idea of what it is they like the most, where they're trending in terms of characteristics, geography, that type of thing. You can view those favorite properties. And lastly, you can view their saved searches. When the consumer is searching, they could just put in the criteria and search, but they can also save it. And this lets you, again, just kind of see where their interests lie, what the geography of where they're searching lies, what shape, size, age, condition of home that is sparking their interest. Very much like viewing activity, but this is even more dedicated to the results there when they save a search, because that's going to be kind of like their favorite search. All right, and someone is asking about the shared app issue. Again, let me back out here. When you're inviting new, down at the bottom where it says share my branded app, that's simply going to email them the link to the app, but it does not save any of their contact information. So you won't have a way to access them and follow them and see all their favorites and save searches and things like that. So that's why I recommended that you kind of steer away from that one, right? And Janet, nope, you are good. Just watching at this point is all you need to do. All right. So that's kind of an overview of what you would see on your side. The consumer sees premium content, it's called. They're going to be able to see sold prices, actual sold prices, which is something that we generally don't reveal to consumers. Consumers love sold prices, so that's a big perk for them. The other biggest perk, maybe even, is you're their go-to agent. So they're seeing all of your contact information on all the properties throughout the entire MLS. Everything is going to say presented by and your information. So even if you don't have any listings at all, you suddenly are presenting 60,000 plus listings to this consumer, and you'll be able to potentially get leads from that. Requests for showings, just general inquiries for information about the property and things like that. All right. The last thing that they get is a brief overview of the property history. You all, as agents, get the property archive report, the PAR in Matrix, where you can see all of the price changes, status changes, agent changes, all of that information. The consumers through the app, when they are connected to you, we'll see just an overview of the latest MLS numbers changes. So they don't get nearly as comprehensive a archive report as you do as the agent, but they do get to see some. And then last couple of things here toward the top, if you click on the pencil, you can edit that consumer's information. You can add on to it. Again, you have the place for notes, multiple email addresses, their phone number. Like I mentioned earlier, you will be able to send them text notifications after the initial notification, initial invitation rather. When you invite them initially, it has to go by email. So you do have to make sure that you get their email address, but just pop their phone number in there a little later to notify them by text and email. All right, so the last option is to revoke access. All things happen, right? There's all sorts of different reasons why you might need to revoke access. They can only be connected to one consumer at a time. One agent at a time. So if I, connected with this person at my open house, and then the next weekend they go out to open houses and try to do the same thing with another agent, ask them, you're already connected to Marilyn. Are you sure you want to disconnect and stop receiving updates from Marilyn Maxwell? If they say yes to that, they are, what I call real estate divorcing you, and they're gone. You can no longer access this activity, and they can no longer access the premium data provided by you. So if they choose to leave, that's one way that the access gets revoked. If you just need to, you find out they're talking to other agents and you want to revoke their access, that's fine. If it's just been forever, you sent them that invitation way back in 2016, they accepted it then, but you haven't been able to get a hold of them. They aren't really interacting. You're not seeing new activity pop up in their favorites or anything like that. You can revoke access at any time that you would want to do that. It doesn't hurt to leave the customer in your branded app. Keep them having long-term access is just fine. It's just up to you if you ever want to revoke that access and just kind of clean up your address list a little bit. All right. Any questions on anything related to the branded app that we've discussed so far? The chat's been a little quiet, but it's not super hard. It's just kind of hiding in plain sight, I call it. And Janet, I see that you raised your hand. If you'll just put your question in the chat, I'll be glad to answer it. And while we're waiting for the question to come through, if you swipe to the right, you can delete a person. So again, I sent an email request to good old Abe Lincoln way back in 2019. He's never responded. I could just swipe and delete him. I don't have to keep hanging on, waiting for that, because apparently it's going to never come. All right. All right, so the question, you mentioned to invite them not to share the app. What if we want to share a link to our Instagram profile? Instagram is completely separate from the HAR branded app. The branded app is just going to show the properties in MLS with all your contact information and help generate leads that way. It's not for sharing third-party links. So you would just invite them as a new customer, add their first name, last name, email address, and then share the link to the agent branded app with them that way. Let's see, another question. I do not have any customers in my database yet. So how do I get those access you just showed? I'm not fully understanding your question, I don't think, but it sounds like you just need to invite some people so that you do have someone on your customers list in the app. If you haven't invited anybody, you won't see any names here, if I'm understanding the question correctly. If not, please expand and let me know. But Joe Consumer, Abe Lincoln, and Kit Martin are there because I invited them. If you don't invite anybody, then there won't be anything here. And you can invite an unlimited number of people. Again, if you go to inviting, go to the option to invite from your phone. You can use any number of the contacts that you have there. It's just another way to kind of keep in touch with those that you already have some relationship with, but kind of in a gentle way. It's not a hardcore lead. It's not really pushing the consumer to do anything. It just is an embedded kind of feature. When they look at their HAR app, it's always going to say your contact information and therefore route any leads to you. So it's not something like, pardon me, like the auto email in Matrix that's constantly sending them emails. This is mostly consumer driven. So if they want to reach out to you, they have that ability to do that. And you have the ability to kind of overlook their record every now and then and see what you can see. All right, so is there a max number of contacts you can enter from your phone? There's not. So just however many you want to invite from whatever source, there's no limit to the number. If you're, I see you're wanting to like post the link to subscribe to your branded app. I don't think that you can do that other than sharing this link where you're not collecting the consumer's information. Every time you email a consumer, invite a new consumer and email them, it gives them a unique URL. So it's attaching it to their record. So I don't know of any way to share one link and have that work out that way, Janet. So pros and cons. You can share this, say, to Facebook or something. You could share that link, but it's not going to collect the consumer's information when you do that. Good questions, y'all. Thank you for submitting those. I like questions. Missed anybody? All right. Any other good questions about the branded app? It's one of those that you just kind of set it and forget it. Again, it's meant to be a soft approach to lead generation. Again, it's not sending them anything. It's not continuously contacting them. It's just a matter of you sending that initial invitation. If they don't accept your invitation, we can't help that. You can always try again and send it again. But if they don't connect, if they don't click and accept that invitation, then you won't have that relationship, that connection. All right. So moving on to the virtual website then, or VOW. I didn't see any other questions come in the chat. If something pops in your mind and you have a question on the app, just let me know. It's fine to still ask questions and I can go back to that. Right. So starting with the virtual office website, I'm going to just type VOW here in the quick search box to get to, actually, let me go a little bit different way. In the tools, website and blog section, you do have to have your HAR web page set up separately. So you'll need to do that first. Again, both the branded app and the virtual office website piece are tied to the Platinum package of tools, as is the HAR website. So just be mindful of that. You'll have to go to tools, website and blog, manage your website. If you haven't created it yet, about right here where mine says customize your homepage, yours is going to have a box for you to fill in and create your web page. Your web address is going to be har.com/something, and you pick that something. Most people just put their name there. Like mine is har.com/Marilyn Maxwell, right? So you would have to fill in that blank with whatever it is you want to include at the end of the URL to create your web page. And then you'll see a page that looks something like the one that I have up now. Just a little side note, I would encourage you to go through the little menus on the left of each section, just to kind of customize it a little bit, set it up so you have at least your personal picture on there, your headshot, and maybe a little bit about you in the bio area, the profile area, just so that you have something to your website when the consumers go there. And you'll see in the center here is virtual office website. So this is the next piece. The virtual office website is very much like the agent branded app, except it's web-based instead of app-based. You'll always have those that are really gung-ho, always want to be on their apps. They want to use their smartphone for everything. And then you'll have those that just simply don't want to, that they want to sit down at a computer and do it through a browser on a laptop or desktop computer instead. And that's where the virtual office website comes in. The first step would be to enable your virtual office website. So if you hadn't already turned on that feature, let me just back up here a little bit to show you that. All right. So once you click on the virtual office website feature, rewind, enable your virtual office website will appear there. You have to enable it first and agree to the terms and opt in. All right, so I have one fake subscriber already. You can see the number 1 here in the circle for website subscribers. And then there's also a number 1 in the saved searches area. So this is just letting me know people have subscribed and what it looks like when they do subscribe. I will receive an email when they subscribe. The virtual office website piece is more consumer driven. I'm not sending the invitation. They're coming to my webpage, finding the button and choosing to subscribe. Right, so here in the top right corner, see where it says sign up to view premium content. That was not there until I enabled the virtual office website. So they would come to this page, click this button, and fill in the blanks with their first name, last name, email. Optional is physical address and phone number. Check that they're not a robot, that they agree to the terms, and then sign up. On both the virtual office website piece and on the branded app invitation, it does present the IABS form. So if you're concerned about that, don't worry. It is including that IABS. The track rules state that you need to present that form at the first substantial contact with that consumer. This just is a nicety that it is quote unquote presenting it at that time. That way there's no question that it was presented. Later you would physically present it to them, have them sign it, and things like that. But this gets that presentation out of the way at that first initial contact with them, right? So this is dependent upon the consumer having found that button and having clicked that button to get to this page and register. Beyond that, it's much like, again, the branded app. The consumer is going to see actual sold prices every time they visit har.com. Everything's going to be branded with your contact information every time they visit har.com, as long as they're logged in. And then the third is they can see that brief history of property price changes and status changes with the current MLS number. So they get the same amount of information. And you have, again, all of those lead opportunities that would be available to you from them being subscribed. If we click on the number 1 here, we're going to see the list of all of those people that are subscribed to my virtual office website page, my VAL page. Just like before, if I click on their name, I'm going to see all of their activity. There's some saved searches. You can see a consumer has saved a search. I can run that saved search or just view the results. If they marked anything as a favorite, I would see that here. The consumer has to have an account on HAR. They have to have registered their first name, last name, and email address in order to mark properties as favorites. So again, it's making sure that there's good contact information in the invitation for the app as for the vow. When they're submitting that, it has to match with the email that's on file. Recommended properties, again, I haven't recommended any, it says there, but if you click on add, just like we saw in the app, it's going to give me the opportunity to search for property, get out of my, search for property and recommend properties to them. And they'll get their little pop-up notification on their phone. And the last two things there are recently viewed properties. Again, this is a fake client, but had they viewed properties, it would look something like this one here. And I'd be able to tell what it was they were interested in, what they had been looking at. Recently viewed sold properties and leased properties, again, they have access to actual sold data once they subscribe to you, either in the branded app or in the virtual office website piece. So they're able to search sold. All right. Accessing the subscriber dashboard. This is what the consumer is going to see on their end. They'll, again, receive a link. Once they register, they'll get a confirmation link, which would let them see this page. Homes with the pool is their saved search. They can update the criteria at any point if they want to. They could delete the saved searches. So it's just kind of a really simple interface. It also gives them options to search for property and find property and help keep their searches going. Again, anything that they find is going to be branded with all my information. So even though they're doing a home search through all of the MLS, whether I have listings or not, it's going to say presented by Marilyn Maxwell. All right. Any questions on the virtual office website? Let me know. Last few things here in the settings. If you want, you can make it a different color scheme and things like that that are minor in the grand scheme of things. Everything defaults to HAR blue. So it'll be blue to begin with. I've got mine set on the gray color scheme. You can decide if you want approvals for a new sign up. If you want to be able to approve each of those that request to register, you can do that. You can always delete them later, so I would leave it open-ended and let them be able to subscribe no matter what. And then lastly, promote. This is a little bit more like what you were wanting. I think it was Janet that had asked this question. There is one link to get to the button on the page. It's not individualized to the consumer like it was in the app. So what you want to do is drive people to this link or this button, all right? So when they come to my website, for instance, when they come to my website, I don't think necessarily that that button is all that prominent. They may not think to look up there and click on that button. Also, most consumers are not going to go to a website. I wouldn't anyway. Go to a website, click some button, fill in all of my personal information, and then wait to see what happens. They're usually more cautious than that about filling out a form and submitting personal information. So I would suggest having somewhere in the content of your page, like in this slider area, slideshow area, or as part of your written bio, explain what the button is so that they know what that is, what premium content really means. When you're setting up your website, excuse me, I have the hiccups, there is a place to put your tagline or slogan. And if you don't have a slogan, you could put something like click the button above or exclusive content, right? So instead of it saying tagline or slogan here, I could be directing them to click that button, right? The other option, again, is to promote it using the options that you have in that Val setup area. You can share to Facebook, tweet it out, share by email, whatever it is that works for you. This is the URL for you exclusively for that button. You can see you've got a URL for the property search, customer sign up, and registration. Sorry, this is the custom URL for your website, and this is for the vow. All right. So a little bit more opportunity to share the links, to share the link and promote the virtual office website than we have for the app, just because the app is designed to be between you and one consumer. This is a little bit more generic. We're just trying to drive traffic to the vow sign up page and let them do the signing up and connecting to us at their discretion. All right. Again, it's a softer approach, like I have said about the app. It's not sending them anything. It's not sending them property updates, pros and cons, but it's not sending them notifications. It's waiting for them to show up and sign up to receive access to the account in a little bit different way, where it's showing that exclusive content. So again, promoting it is your biggest assignment. If you don't promote it, you're waiting for people to just happen along onto your website and click this little button, which again, I'm not certain a lot of consumers might do in the very beginning. They would want to know what it is or a little bit more information about it before they signed up. Any questions at all on anything that we've covered so far? We're moving through everything pretty quickly. I'm not seeing any questions come through, so hopefully that helps you guys understand it just a little bit more. You can disable the vow at any time. And again, you can revoke access and delete those from your app that you had invited at any time. It's totally up to you if you do that. All right. And then I think that I mentioned it, but just to be sure, whenever anyone clicks the button from your website to sign up for your vow webpage, you're going to receive an email to let you know, so that you'll be aware that you have a new subscriber. And then again, you can go look at their profile anytime and see what it is that they're searching for, if they've marked any favorites, something like that. All right. Doesn't look like there's any questions coming through in the chat. Any questions on the website or anything that we kind of talked about, or something else that you think of, kind of a side note that you'd like to ask a question about on the HAR tools? I'm glad to try to answer those while we have a little time left with each other today. All right. Well, I must have done a great job. Actually, I think it's that these two features are pretty straightforward. Um, if you do have any questions for me, again, here is all my contact information. Feel free to email me if I can be of help, email or call. And I will be glad to help you as best I can. All right. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate you all being here and taking your time out this afternoon. This will be the last webinar for 2021. I will most likely again next year have a series of webinars. We usually do them at least twice a month. So be on the lookout. We're setting up our calendar for the new year in the next couple of weeks. So just be on the lookout for those new webinars coming up. Again, thank you so much for your time and energy today and being on board. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.